Hi everyone, it's Dave Ghoul, and today I bring you guys a very special video, a very special podcast, in fact. And also, I have a very nice guest with me today that I've been
Hi,
wanting, I've been wanting
hi
to have
guys.
him here on the podcast for the first time. Do you want to present yourself, my friend?
Yeah, sure. Hi guys. My name is Simple Weeb, and I also have a YouTube channel. Although I haven't posted for quite a while now, but I'm working on it. And well, I know David for like a long time, I'll say, and I think I know him pretty well. And well, we both do videos on YouTube, so we decided to do a podcast, something different and cool. And let's see how this goes.
Yeah, man. You and I both. I haven't been posting videos for so long. What has it been? 2 months? 3 months? Depends the time I put this podcast in the air. So I'll
Yeah.
just. um, but yeah, I've lately just been a little bit lazy, and also I've been wanting to make the podcast first. So yeah. Um, but I knew that I wanted. Um, I felt like it was an important, um, first step to make a video with you. We talked
Yeah.
about making a video together for the longest time, um, and because we both weren't making videos for so long, I felt like this was the perfect opportunity to make um, a podcast because in a podcast, I mean, we can talk about anything, right?
Yeah, yeah, you can.
So, yeah, and just a side note, I hope that you guys are corona free as I'm calling it. The world has been crazy this past couple of months, really, and I hope everyone that is watching us is safe right now. Uh,
Yeah, and remember to stay home and
watch
watch
your
One
head.
Piece.
Yeah, watch a lot of anime. I mean, it's not hard to stay at home, I think. But again, we are weeboos, so it's
Yeah,
it's a
for us
bit.
it's quite easy to stay at home.
You know what's crazy is that almost nobody is outside. It looks like an apocalyptic scenario.
Yeah, yeah. I
And
think that's what I was thinking. You would say.
and you also know what's crazy? There, I don't remember the name of the organization that is treating this coronavirus situation, but their symbol is the umbrella symbol
Oh
from.
yeah, I saw something like that on the internet too. That's quite worrying.
Man, it's crazy. The only difference is that it's not red and white. It's
Yeah.
greenish and white. It's exactly the same. It's fucking ridiculous.
That's not a good sign.
That's not a good sign at all. Um, all right then. Shall we start really
Yeah, yeah.
talking
Let's
about
go.
these topics at hand? So I wanted to start by talking about, of course, Tokyo Ghoul. I mean, this podcast is called the Simple Ghouls, so I think it's only fitting.
Yeah, and, well, you're the expert in Tokyo Ghoul on YouTube. The
That's
the one that possesses the most knowledge about Tokyo Ghoul
what.
on the YouTube community. I dare say.
No, I mean, this whole thing started because I felt like there weren't many people talking about it in the first
Yeah,
place. And so, I was like, but of
because I
course,
think that Tokyo Ghoul is considered one of like the emo weaves. He created the trend of emo weaves in on the anime community, and a lot of people just ignore the anime and don't care. And well, they kind of screw up in the end of the second season too. So a lot of people.
I understand a couple of issues with Rude, but I'm still a fan, man. I still like it.
Yeah, I still like it. I'm a big fan of Tokyo. It's one of my favorite animes. But
Yeah.
well, when I read the manga, I was like, oh, that's why.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. And that's exactly what I wanted to discuss. I wanted to talk a little bit about um, anime versus manga. The whole discussion about which version of Tokyo Ghoul is better. You know, which version should we start? Which version should, what we think about the different interpretations of the source material, not just the anime, but most recently we've had the game, and we've had two live action movies. The second,
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet. I've seen the first one.
I've seen since from the first one. I haven't checked the second one either.
And what did you thought about it?
Like, I think it's a live action. It's hard to like say a live action is good compared with an anime, because in the anime you can do so much things that in live action it's a little bit harder or take a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And in the anime, although it's also very expensive to do some certain things, it's like something that you can do just by drawing it. So I think you can do things that in real life are way harder and more expensive than in the anime or in the manga.
Yeah,
But that's
yeah.
like, I think that's the problem with all live actions. There are live actions that are like pretty good, but that they just don't have enough money to produce better. That's just my opinion, though.
Yeah, I think, yeah, the problem, a big problem that I felt the live action version had of the movie had was the budget. It clearly was, it wasn't the best. Even though Warner Brothers distributed the film, you can tell they didn't have a big involvement in it. And but I think,
That's probably because they don't have also a lot of hope when it comes to sellings, because I don't know why, but I don't think that anime movies or live actions do as great in theaters as like Marvel movies or DC movies
oh yeah.
or just regular movies.
No, absolutely. I mean, well, anime is growing more popular, but I mean, it's not nearly in the same level as
Yeah,
comic book adaptations. But again, comic books weren't really that big at the time. It was movies like Spider-Man, X-Men that really.
yeah,
I mean, I will even put Blade in there. Blade
yeah, definitely.
had a big involvement as well. Um, it was only because of those movies that the comic book genre really expanded. And with anime, we still haven't had an anime film that has spoken to a lot of people in the same way. I feel like, uh,
Yeah,
and the quality as
and like
the
usually the shonen is the main thing that goes besides the Japan community, and only if you're like a member of the anime community, only if you remember you'll like watch things besides shonen. Like I got in anime in with shonen, with Dragon Ball. You probably did too.
yeah
Like most of people outside of Japan, the first anime they ever watched was shonen. Quite frankly.
yeah it's
So
true yeah no because shonen is unlike seinen, for example. It is mature as well, but it's more for a larger audience. It's not just for one specific kind of audience. And I think that's why it has. And of course, if we're talking about Dragon Ball exploded. I mean, in popularity, you know.
yeah,
And if we're talking about the manga verse, I mean, One Piece was the. I mean, I still think it's the king,
Yeah.
but even though Demon Slayer surpassed it in terms of sex,
Technically it surpassed, but then they said it didn't. I don't know. I still I still support One Piece. So
fake news, fake news. Um, but yeah, going back to the topic at hand, I've, the one thing that I liked that they did with the live action film was they they made it. What I think they're doing, of what I got from the second film, the trailer of the second film, they're separate. Each movie they're making a specific arc for it. For example, the first one, it covered the beginning of the story until the confrontation between Kaneki and Amon, um, and then and now this second one, it seems to me that it's the whole arc with um, Sukuyama.
yes.
Um, and I suppose that if they make a third one, I didn't think they will make a second one in the first place, to be honest.
It all depends on the sellings.
Yes.
So
So, but I think if they make a third one, it will be the whole Aogiri capturing Kaneki
so yeah.
and him, being tortured by Jason, which,
Yeah.
even though I'm not a fan,
One of the first and one of the best action scenes, in my opinion,
yes,
the Jason against Kaneki.
if they make because I haven't been a fan. I'm gonna be honest with you. I wasn't a big fan of this first film. I don't know the second one, but it's the same director, so I'm not so confident. But if they make a third one, I'm only gonna be excited for that. I'm dying to see how they adapt it. But at the same time, I know I'm gonna be heartbroken because
Yeah.
I mean, because they did a good job at adapting the story, very faithful to the manga. It's very faithful, even more so than the anime. But at least the first season of the anime. But
Yeah.
the execution just wasn't the best. I love the cinematography. I love the color palette throughout the film. And I did like the actors. I did. But a, a lot of the performances were too over the top. Um, the direction wasn't the best. I mean, it's very. You can tell that the director is, uh, a first timer. He's
Yeah.
not used to directing big movies such as this, and the camera as was always very, how do you say it? Very fixed
Yeah.
that in one shot, and there wasn't much camera movement. There wasn't much, uh, you know, the action scenes weren't bad, but they weren't very. They didn't have much energy to them, and I feel like, and the CGI at certain points it
Yeah.
looked
I
like.
saw a lot of pictures with the CGI, and it wasn't that great. It was kind of lame, in my opinion.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
was
Kagune
yeah.
designs were great. That I give them that. They were very well done. But again, if you took a screenshot of a certain action scene, it will look great. But in motion, you can definitely tell it's very. And also the scenery, the places where they shot, especially there's a scene with that scene where Nishiki starts uh, to torture Hide in front of Kaneki.
Yeah.
Scene, it felt very low budget. It it was awful, man. It was really hard to watch. Really hard to watch.
Not as hard as Death Note, the movie, but okay. I bet that movie is just, oh my god.
I
But
mean,
yeah.
we'll get to that. We'll get to that. But I don't know. Because it's not just, to me. It's the perfect example that not adapting the manga 100% not always guarantees a good.
Not always the best idea.
exactly. Because a lot of people are like, the manga is always better. It has to be 100% like the manga. Well, the film was 100% like the manga, and I still prefer the anime because it
Yeah,
worked. It worked best in animation. It just did.
yeah.
And
And well, just a side note,
yes,
in the case of Kimetsu no Yaiba, that Demon Slayer, I'm reading the manga right now, and well, the anime is better than the the manga for sure.
100%.
Like there are a lot of things that didn't appear in the manga that they made up in the anime, and those are one of the like the best scenes of the whole anime. So yeah, like it's it depends a lot on how you do the adaptation. Like it, sometimes it gets better, sometimes you just screw up really bad.
Exactly. And also, you have to play the strengths of the medium you're adapting. For example, the anime made certain changes, but those changes worked well for what they were doing, for what they were trying to do with the anime. And with the movie, there were certain, for example, I talked about the overacting, right? Because they were trying to emulate the same emotions that you see in the anime and that you see in the manga with the characters, right? Because the characters have this very extreme expressions to show just the kind of emotion, right, that they're feeling. But with the film, you can't do the same thing because it's gonna look weird. It's not with in animation it works because it's animation, but in film it it's just it doesn't feel real. It takes you out of it, and
Yeah,
and I feel like what they should have done was make again the camera movement and the way that the way that they should have shot it should have been more extreme. They should have shown those types of emotions in in the same extreme way, but in a different way, not in through the camera.
more live action way, basically.
Exactly, not through the performances, because it just you won't be able to replicate the same extreme
Yeah,
feelings as you see in the manga or in the anime.
true, true.
But yeah, it was a little bit disappointing, yes, but say whatever you want from the anime, but I think the anime did the best they could, and there was passion behind it. With
Yeah.
the all
Even
right,
like the re is pretty good. I really like the re, although in the beginning of the third season, or the first season of Tokyo Ghoul re, like it's pretty confusing because Kaneki supposedly died, or we don't actually know what happened to Kaneki. We don't know anything, and like some guy appears with that kind of looks like Kaneki, but not quite, and we were like, who the fuck are you? Because
although to be fair, in the manga it was the same thing. I mean, I remember reading it. It felt like
but
you didn't know. They introduced the character, you don't know who the character is.
yeah.
But I
Yeah,
think
I didn't read the Tokyo Ghoul re yet, but I read the original the Tokyo Ghoul manga, and I'll start to read the re eventually. But for now, I just read the Tokyo Ghoul one, and like at least I think they completed the story a little bit better. And like if the author wanted to finish the story there, he could, because the story was like kind of finished at that time. Although he could develop more, which he did and did pretty well, in my opinion. So yeah,
yeah, it is a good sequel, and I think it was better explained because, for example, with Rure, they left it very open, and
yeah,
with the manga, there is a scene, there is a panel where you have Eto say, ask Kano if they can. No, she says to Kano that they can always bring him back, Kaneki back. Um, and so you know that Kaneki is gonna come back
Yeah,
in
yeah,
some shape or form. So when they reveal that Heise is Kaneki, it's not as jarring. I feel like.
yeah. It's something that you were already expecting because of this. They clearly look alike. So yeah, and the hair. Let's be honest. Like the hair is a pretty like obvious sign because he has black and white hair, and the character goes for has black hair, and then his hair turns white. So, which
they also read.
you know,
They also
I read
read books
something.
and all that.
Oh yeah, yeah. But do you know? I read something on the internet saying that the thing of Kaneki's hair turning white actually makes sense. There's a syndrome related with that. When people get like very stressed, their hair turns white, completely white. That's what happened to I think Marie Antoinette, the queen, the French queen that was executed.
Oh, I
Like
didn't know.
before her execution, like supposedly her hair turned completely white, and that created the syndrome of Marie Antoinette.
Damn, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, I read something on the internet and I was like, "Whoa, amazing!" So it actually is. It isn't something that is just edgy for the edge. It's actually like scientifically
Yeah, yeah,
explained. It's not something that the author puts just to look cool,
yeah, exactly.
which is pretty cool.
I mean, it's very psychological. You can tell that Suishida had very, there is some reality to a lot of things
Yeah,
that happen.
definitely.
Um,
That's also why I think that's why I also like a lot of Tokyo Ghoul a lot. That's like one of the main reasons because you can like understand the characters and what drives each character, which is like pretty good. And like most of animes do that. That's why I also like anime.
yeah, yeah,
Which like in like American cartoons, you like characters just do what they do because they want to. In anime, they always are driven by something that most of the times it's not just theirs. It's something that they suffered or that happened in their lives, and and they act in a way because of that.
yeah. But we better not go down that rabbit hole because
Yeah,
I'm sure there are a lot of people love American cartoons, so it's better. We better not go
I'm not
down.
saying that American cartoons are bad. I'm just saying that
I
sometimes
mean,
they
there's some
don't.
great ones. So
Yeah, but like I don't think they don't go as psychological as anime does most of the times.
yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, because most anime are are very mature. I mean, it's when I see people, and we'll talk about that because there was someone in Australia, a certain someone who was saying that that anime is hurtful for children and all that, and
Yeah,
but I mean you can't generalize it. Anime is a lot of anime shows and movies are very mature, are not for kids.
yeah,
Even series such as Dragon Ball, it started for kids, and although there were certain sexual things that I don't think were for kids, but it was for the most part it was very childish, and
yeah.
then it evolved into
Especially the Dragon Ball before the Z.
exactly once these started, it changed everything. I mean, this wasn't for kids anymore. I feel like.
Yeah, like the show grow with the people that were watching. Like uh,
Yeah, yeah,
you start watching it as a kid. When you become a teenager, you relate more with a Goku who's like 19 or 20 than with a Goku that's 5 years old. That's the thing. So like obviously the author wants you to relate with the main character, so you actually like the main character. And that's like a main difference. You start like teenagers like start to like things that are more aggressive, don't want to see like just a guy, just a kid having adventure throughout and making friends. That's like the thing that changed more in Dragon Ball Z, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's...
Yeah, we're running from the topic.
But I think we talked about most of it. But yeah.
Yeah.
So
Tokyo Ghoul ending was really good, and people that say it should be a tragedy don't know what they're saying, in my opinion. I think that the way the went, it was almost like a redemption arc, two huge redemption arcs for Kaneki to like redeem himself from what he did, the whole eating ghouls and killing people thing that he did in the second season. And well, although a tragic end would not be that bad, I think that the ending that the author chose was pretty good.
Yeah, well,
it was very similar to the original one, to the manga. The second season of Re was like, I think the Re was pretty well adapted, although I haven't read the manga. That's what I've heard from people that had read the manga.
All right, then. We'll talk about more about that later down the road. So, since we're in the conversation of manga, fairly recently, finally, the author of Death Note has released a one-shot. I wouldn't necessarily call it a sequel. I mean, it is a sequel, but
kind of is, yeah.
It's kind of a sequel, but
with a different main character, basically.
It's quite a big one-shot as well, but I mean, it's still a one-shot. It's not an official sequel.
Yeah, you can read it pretty easily. Like, just go to the internet and do it legally.
And do it legally.
Like everyone does.
Exactly. I mean, what did you think about it, though?
I think it was pretty good. Like, I really liked the fact that this guy didn't want to kill people. So he was like, I'm gonna sell the Death Note, which, like, how did he thought of that? How did anyone have it as a, like, the police had the Death Note, everyone had the Death Note at some point in the Death Note, not the one shot, the anime and the manga. Like, a lot of people had access to the Death Note, and no one ever thought of selling the Death Note. That was just, like, and the way he did it in the end, like, it was genius. Like, the fact that he tried to, like, give money to everyone. Although I don't think he actually tried to help everyone. He just wanted some money, and he didn't care about, like, people that earn money. But yeah, I don't know.
I mean, the characters in Death Note are not black and white. They're very gray. You know, they have their flaws in terms of personality. Yeah. Although this guy didn't want to kill anybody, so I applaud that.
That's kind of good.
Exactly. I mean, it's a Death Note where you can kill people and he doesn't kill people. I find that brilliant.
He just used it to earn money without killing people. He like in the part of the story when Hell or Nier starts talking and says, yeah, this guy could earn money if he wants. He could just kill people and people would give him money because you can control people's will for 23 days before they die. But although he can do that, he is not killing anyone, so it means that he really doesn't want to kill anyone. So it's very clear that the main character doesn't want to kill, like, at least he's that good, but he was a little bit greedy, and, well, the Shinigami just fucked him over, to be honest.
Yeah. Like, I mean, you're a big Death Note fan. You're even more of a fan than I am.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I consider you a big fan too, so.
I mean, you have the whole collection of the manga, so I don't, I'm more of a Tokyo Ghoul guy, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a pretty big fan. I think it was like the first anime I've ever seen like that it wasn't like shonen or it wasn't like battle type.
Yeah, yeah.
I would say it was the first. Oh no, I watched Evangelion first, but yeah, but Evangelion it's a different case. I would say. So yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's not the same, that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah. But I'll say like it's one of my favorite mangas and anime.
Hmm.
And I really like the main character, the Light Yagami, although he dies in the end. Like I think I've told you that the first time I saw it, I stopped like in the last like 2 or 3 episodes because I didn't want to see Light Yagami die. So
yeah,
that's how much I like the character.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, you told me about that. I remember.
But then I watched and yeah, and I think he could be smarter. Like, but I think that if the author wanted, he could create a way to escape Nier's plan. Yeah, I could. So the author obviously could. So, but yeah, Light had to die eventually. So
I mean, I think that, again, that was the whole thing about Light. He was so full of himself with his ego.
Yeah.
And
in the end, he was so full of himself. That's why he lost, in my opinion.
I mean, he killed the smartest person alive, which was L. And
Yeah.
Nier was smart, but he was only able to bring Light down because of what was this?
Because Light committed a mistake, in my opinion. That's because he was so full of himself. He thought that he already that he had won already, and that is very clear in the manga. Like while you read the manga and all the thoughts, you can clearly see that Light already Light said like the thing. I already won the game. So in the point that they like made that meeting in the anger when and then like the whole final like little thing in that before Light dies, the meeting that they had, it's clear that Light already thought that he won.
Yeah.
That's why he lost, and it's very sad.
And also Nier at the help of that other member of the orphanage. I don't remember his name. Jesus.
Mello.
Yes, that's it. Mello. He had the help of Mello. So if Nier did everything by himself, because he was arrogant as well. Nier was arrogant.
Yeah.
And that's
the problem. And that's something very interesting that the author does, is that everyone that's super smart is actually very arrogant. Like L was very arrogant. Like L was always so sure of himself that he never like thought to stop to think that maybe he was wrong or maybe he would have a way to.
I mean,
but yeah, like he was so like frustrated because he was wrong that he like. And you could see that once he thought that Light was the cure, he couldn't let go of that hint. And if Light wasn't the cure, like you would think that Light was the cure forever. That's the thing.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting like, because the main character in this one shot, he wasn't arrogant at all, and he died. He still died in the end, which. Ryo himself said that, I mean, it was unfortunate that because he did everything right, but because the Shinigami god was like, this guy is just, he invented a new rule.
You can't do that. He literally said no, and then he died. Like he just said no. People can't sell the Death Note. That's stupid. I'm gonna punish everyone that does that, and yeah, that happened.
Yeah, man.
But he was a little bit arrogant in and that is very like you can see that the author tried to also put that on your face was the fact that he said, Ryuk, never come back and never talk to me again, please. Like the moment he said that was his mistake too. because if he warned him, like he would never get the money, and if he never got the money, he would.
That's true.
Or like
that's the point.
Thing is, he couldn't get the money. But I think if his mother got the money, there would be no problem. He himself couldn't get his money, and that's like the problem, the major problem. And because he said that to Ryuk that you'll never talk again with him, and that's like the Shinigami word. So even if it's with a human or a Shinigami, he has to keep his word. That just by saying that, he condemned himself to death, basically. And that's like, I think that the author of the Death Note series always tries to make the smart people arrogant, to show that people shouldn't be arrogant in first place. And that's like something that is present in every single person that's very smart. Even and it doesn't matter their opinion on if you should kill or not. It doesn't matter their opinion on that. It's just if you're smart, you're very arrogant, basically.
And it's a very human thing, right? It's because I mean, if you didn't have that arrogance, they will feel like machines, right? I mean, in real life at least, there's no person
there's no person that it is like zero arrogancy. Everyone is a little bit arrogant, and especially like people that are very smart or very strong, like people that are the best at something usually are very arrogant too.
Yeah. But I really enjoyed this one shot actually. It was for a sequel, it was really fucking good. And I can't help but wonder if the author of Death Note made this one shot as a response for the Death Note, Netflix's Death Note movie.
That would be great.
I mean, because there's just so many similarities. There's so many similarities, I think, because it takes place in the modern world, and a lot of the things that happen in the story, it feels like a direct response to, because the Death Note movie takes place in the modern world, but it follows the exact same story as the anime. But
kind of, yeah.
The problem is that type of story wouldn't work in a modern setting. You know, in the manga, it stated that. You know,
he stated that. That Kiro knocks his in a world like the one that we live today because of cameras and security and all of that. Yeah, he clearly stated that. Yeah, now I remember.
Yeah, it felt like it to me. It felt like it was a jab on the author's part towards because I think he watched it, right. It was him or the director of the anime. I can remember. I know that one of the two they saw the movie and they liked it.
He probably saw it. Like he created the story, so it makes sense that he saw the adaptation they made out of his story. But I'm not sure. But I would say that he probably did.
Because I know that one of them said that they liked the movie, but I mean, if I were the author, I don't know if I would have, truly approved. I think they only approved it because the movie hadn't come out yet and it was for good publicity. But because it's so different, because it picks on the same story, but it's so different at the same time. It's almost like they pick on the names of the characters and all that, but the characters are so different. They're nothing alike. And
like the light Yagami from the adaptation is so bad, but so bad. Like all my love for Light went down the well with that Light. Just he was the worst. Like the first thing he does when he meets the girl Mia, he's like, "Oh, do you want to know a secret? I have a notebook that kills people." Like that's not the Light from the Death Note series manga
The light
or an anime.
thing.
Like he only was discovered by Mia because she had the Shinigami eyes. If she didn't, she would never discover that he was the Kira.
And he was reticent about it. He wasn't sure if he should involve Mia in things. He
Yeah.
didn't trust her. He only started to trust her because of the Shinigami eyes, like you pointed out.
Yeah, he only literally used her. That's the only thing he did. And in the movie, he was like, "Oh yeah, let's do things." And she was the one that tried to kill criminals, and she was the Kira. Like Light wasn't the Kira in the adaptation. That's why I think that's also why I think that a lot of people didn't like it, because I don't think I'm the only one that really enjoys Light and as a character,
Hmm.
and a lot of people didn't saw Light as the character Light in the adaptation, because that wasn't Light. Like you can say that was Light because it wasn't Light.
He was a
Like,
completely different character.
yeah, and he was a really bad character in my opinion, and I think a lot of people agree with me because everyone talks bad about the adaptations.
Even L started all right, but then he got too emotional and was like, "What the hell? He's not like this. L is very
Yeah.
cold," and it just didn't
And
drive.
when they try to blame Ryuk, they try to make Ryuk like the villain of the story. At a certain point, they were like, "Oh, what if, like Light said to L in the coffee when they met, oh, what if the Kira is being influenced by someone?" And I really didn't get if he was trying to blame Ryuk or Mia, but I think he was trying to blame Ryuk because at that time, like when he says that, you can see like a lot of pictures of Ryuk in Japanese times, in feudal times, and like
Yeah,
throughout the history. So like I was like, are they trying to blame Ryuk for what for the killings? Because like in the anime, it's clear that Ryuk doesn't give a fuck about anything.
yeah,
He's
it's
just there to watch the world burn. He's like the Joker of One Piece.
it's just a bridge for that Light can use to achieve its goals. But yeah, I felt like this one shot was, especially the timing. It just because the movie is fairly recent, and I truly believe that the author of Death Note made this one shot in order to wash the bad taste in Death Note's mouth, because a lot of hardcore fans expressed their you know that they disliked the movie, and I was like, and it feels like this one shot was a consolation prize.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. This one shot was great in my opinion, and I really like the fact that like in the Death Note they try to explore the fact of should people die or should be like are vigilantes something that should be legal or should or only like people that have the authority to judge which should be the only ones that should judge. That's like the main clash in the Death Note series. Right.
Yeah,
Which is right? Killing people without like trial, or going to trial and do what and like, or should people go through a trial? Should criminals go through a trial, or should criminals like just die without any trial, just condemn them? And in this Death Note one shot, the point was like, what if the Death Note power was something that everyone could have access to? What would be the reaction of the world towards Kira's power? I think, and that was really like really funny to see, because I actually believe that what the author wrote and how the story went would totally be how the world would react to a Death Note. if it will be sold. And I think that the approach the author did this time, it's way more realistic than a teenage kid trying to kill everyone in the world.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't think that maybe some teenagers have, like, the thing that all criminals should die. But, like, I don't think they'll be as smart as Light. And this kid he was extremely smart too, but, like, his plan is more realistic in a high school, like, thing. Like, an high school kid would probably come with something, like, similar. I wouldn't say as perfect and flawless like the plan that the main character did, but, like, I think that will be way more probable that the high school kid will probably try to sell the Death Note instead of trying to kill every criminal in the world. At least that's what I think.
Yeah.
And, like, well, in the first case, like, also White didn't do that because no one knew about the Death Note. And, like, it makes sense that he will try to kill criminals, and he also had a strong sense of justice. His father was from the police. He was really smart. So, like, it makes sense. But in the perspective of the modern world, I think that it was a really cool, like, way to show how people would react to the Death Note. And that's, like, I am pretty sure the American government will try to buy the Death Note, and the Chinese and the Japanese, everyone will try to buy the Death Note.
Definitely.
For sure. And I like the fact that they said, oh, it's for peace. We'll never kill anyone.
Yeah, I mean, that's bullshit. You can call it bullshit.
But the thing is, it's like the way he sold it, it might not be bullshit, because if someone starts dying from a heart attack, if a lot of people from another country besides the United States starts dying from heart attack, you start thinking that something is wrong, and they are actually using the Death Note.
Yeah, basically it feels like he's aiming for world peace in a way.
Yeah, in a certain way, he's actually aiming for world peace and getting rich at the same time. So basically he died, but he made an actual pretty good sacrifice. By dying, he not only created world peace, but also thousands of people earn a lot of money.
Yeah.
Which, like it's pretty good. So, like, this character, it's completely different from Light. He didn't want to become a god. He just wanted to live a happy life. And the fact is that he sacrificed himself, but he actually made a lot of people's lives easier.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but this one shot was really good. Really fucking good.
Yeah, I really liked it.
Well, shall we talk about a little bit about this? I mean, this is just hilarious. We talked about this a little bit before. The whole Interspecies Reviewers situation. The greatest anime of all time, according to my anime list. I mean, yeah. Jesus Christ.
I don't know about you, but I rated 10 out of 10 in my anime list.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I actually haven't seen it yet. You saw the first 3 episodes?
The first 3 episodes, yeah.
I mean, I do plan to see it.
What?
I do plan on seeing it, actually, but you
yeah, it's very funny. It's a cool concept, and, well, you can't say no to anime titties. Just
That's true. But I mean, it's like, I don't understand how something like this got banned. But I mean, let me see. I mean, an example of an anime show that it's even worse. I mean, for example, how can you put the end of Evangelion, on Funimation and well, I don't. It's not in Funimation.
Yeah, I wouldn't say like the same. It's not like the same thing, but I totally get why you're going to Evangelion, because like it's very gore and very like disturbing, the end of Evangelion, and this is just anime tits, literally.
I mean, even Tokyo Ghoul. I mean, they had to censor it, initially. They had to censor because it was just too. I mean, there's so many shows. Elton Lead, it's another show that
Yeah.
it's so disturbing, and it's like they don't ban it. And even
No,
Demon Slayer with
I
the
think
first
they're more worried with sexual things than with actually disturbing things that can actually damage kids mentally. Like that's okay, but whoa, you're showing tits to a 9-year-old. Whoa, that's too much. Like
and,
I'm not
yeah,
saying that you should show tits to a 9-year-old, but he probably already saw some. So for real, you're not showing anything like completely new to him. And there are things that you can show to him that are way worse than animated.
yeah, and I think that's the parents' responsibility, right? To see
Yeah.
what the kid is watching, and
When I was younger, my parents always like saw. Well, I never. When I was younger, I didn't use internet that much. I usually used TV
yeah,
and watched Yu-Gi-Oh and Dragon Ball.
yeah,
But like when I went to the computer, my parents always like were watching what I was doing in the computer. That's a thing, right?
I think the only show that I was able to sneak on my parents was Full Metal Alchemist at the time, which was disturbed me for life. I mean, of course now I can watch it very well, but Jesus Christ. But again, that's what I don't understand. There's so many shows, including recent shows. I mean, well, I mentioned specifically Goblin Slayer's first episode because um, we will talk about a little bit about the whole Australia situation. But um, the Goblin Slayer came up in the conversation, and I mean, even that first episode, I mean, there's rape in it, and
Yeah,
you didn't see anyone banning it at the time, and so that's why I find it odd and hilarious at the same time that a show like
yeah,
Interspecies Reviewers, I was going to say Isekai Reviewers, I don't know why, that will be a very different show. Um, I don't understand why a show like this gets banned, but you know,
Well, I kind of understand why because I watched the first 3 episodes.
I mean, but again, what is worse?
But there are things that are worse. That's
What is
the thing.
worse,
And
right?
like
Or
from Funimation, and Funimation said that it wasn't according to their standards, but they have things and things that well supposedly wouldn't be according to standards too.
exactly,
Which lets me think that if that was banned because it wasn't according to their standards, everything they have on their site is according to their standards. And if that's true, there's a lot of things wrong with animation.
exactly. I mean, I actually saw a post of uh, someone that posted the news that Funimation was gonna purchase the Monogatari series on Funimation, and
Yeah,
and the comments, they were hilarious. I mean, everyone was saying immediately, "Oh, you put the Monogatari series in there, but you ban Interspecies Reviewers," and it's like, well, that's true. I mean, the Monogatari series has so many
yeah,
fucked up shit as well, and it's like, all right,
yeah.
I understand your point.
I haven't watched Monogatari series, but if I'm right, there's a scene where like someone is brushing someone's teeth,
Oh yeah, man.
and I've seen that, and that's very disturbing.
I mean, if you watch the full scene, Jesus Christ. Again, it seems like those that it's like, I mean, anime is fucked up in general, and it's like, I mean, if you're gonna ban that show, might as well ban the whole
the
genre.
whole
I mean,
the old genre of ecchi.
although there is someone who actually wants to do that, and that leads us to the whole situation in Australia,
Yeah,
which, if you guys don't know, the pres no the vice president, no, the senator, I think, of Australia.
yeah. I think it was the
It
same.
doesn't matter. It was an old white dude who hasn't seen anime in his life. So um, he actually went to the Congress and made a point to ban anime in all of anime in Australia. Um, to me, it's ridiculous. I mean, to me, this is just ridiculous because he paid a group of people to watch some of these more recent shows, and one of those shows was Goblin Slayer. Although I don't believe they watched Goblin Slayer to the very end because I think the most hardcore thing that has happened in Goblin Slayer was the rape scenes in the first episode.
Yeah.
Um,
He says he's against child abuse in anime and manga.
that's what I don't understand, though. I mean,
Because
it's something
because
that
Goblin Slayer is the first anime that there's child abuse. So yeah.
I mean no, because there is a general understanding, misunderstanding in this case, that a lot of people think that anime is for children. That's not true. I mean, there's so many shows out there that anime shows and movies that have proven they're super mature. You know,
Yeah.
for example, we talk about the Oscars, right? And the
Yeah.
Oscars, it's even worse. I mean, a lot of the way that they treat their animation category is ridiculous. I mean, there was an year where they put the Boss Baby in the category, and I don't think they had a Silent Voice in there. I think Silent Voice was in the same year. Um, Silent Voice is not a Boss Baby. It's super mature, and
Yeah.
and it's even more mature than a Pixar movie because usually every year that Pixar puts a movie, they win. I mean, it's still
Yeah.
completely, but that's not the point. The point is, a lot of people think that anime is for children, and most of it, it's not. It's for teenagers, adults, even older people can watch it.
Yeah.
And I think Netflix has made a good point in that because most of the anime that they purchase and
Are for more mature audiences.
exactly. I mean, you're telling me that Devilman Crybaby is for children?
Yeah, let's mess with the devil.
I talked about the end of Evangelion as a comparison to I mean, Devilman Crybaby. Jesus fucking Christ, one of the most fucked up shows I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And
And one of the greatest shows I've ever seen too.
and although I'm not saying that he's completely wrong. I understand where he comes from. I do.
Yeah. Like, there's no need to ban anime for just because of that. Like, once again, like, kids have parents, and the parents are the ones responsible to take care of them.
Exactly.
If you're an adult and you have a child, and you don't want to, like, a child to watch things that, well, a child shouldn't see, because I totally agree that children shouldn't see things like rape and animated. Like, if I'm the parent there, I'm the one who's saying, no, you don't watch these, or just block it out. There are, like, with technology nowadays, you can do so many things. Why can't you just block some things for your child so your child doesn't get exposed to things that you think that she or he shouldn't? Like,
exactly. That's the parents
necessary
have
to
to
ban
monitor.
anime.
Um,
That's just radicalism.
yeah, I mean, this is basically censorship, and I don't think it for us anime viewers it's important because I mean, imagine if they actually approve this law and they ban anime in Australia, every single other country is going to do
You're gonna try it.
something.
Yeah.
I mean, even the what was it? The United Nations. I think they talked about banning lollies at one point.
Oh yeah, I saw
And I
something
mean,
like that too.
if you have an organization such as that is more concerned about fucking lollies than war crimes, or for example, Turkey invading Syria, it's like, I mean, you don't think they're gonna ban anime in those other countries? It's
Yeah, I think that's also because a lot of people think that weebs and otakus are like those guys, fat guys full of sweat that live in their mother's basement and
perfect and all that.
can't do anything of their life. Like, I'm not like that. There are a lot of YouTubers that watch anime and are completely addicted to anime and are not like that. I think it's more than proven that weebs are not necessarily fat people that live in their mother's basement and that do naughty stuff watching anime lollies.
I mean, we know that some do, but we're not going to say it out loud. I mean, we're trying to prove a point, right? But of course, there are perverts everywhere. I mean, but you can generalize. I mean, it's better, for example, it's better watching cartoons fuck than wanting to fuck little children, right?
Yeah.
I mean, at least they can entertain themselves. I mean, and these are drawn pictures. I mean, this is
if they're doing that with the pictures, they're not doing with real people.
Exactly. I mean,
not they would, but they could. No, but I think it's just stupid to like assume that weebs are just perverted fat people or just perverted people. And I think it's a very radical decision to just ban anime from a country and all kinds of anime. Like it doesn't make sense in my opinion.
To me,
and if you're trying to protect the children, well, that's the parents' job, and eventually the brothers and teachers' jobs. But like, not a government that, like, as a government, you're not like, you are responsible for the people that live in the country, but you don't have to like create a law that prohibits every anime from everyone. Like, everyone has their choices, and if parents want to show children being raped, well, that's parents' choices.
I mean, they can't. Again, this is so dangerous because they can't make the choice of robbing the consumer's experience, right? They can consume whatever they want, and again, this is censorship, and it's very dangerous, not just for us anime viewers, but for a lot of things. For example, if they start banning anime, what guarantee do I have that they're not gonna ban other stuff? You know, start banning, for example, movies and all that.
Yeah,
you know,
there are a lot of movies that involve things like that too. Like, because the thing is, in real life there are people that abuse the children and abuse
unfortunately
other people, unfortunately. And like, that's just reality. Are you gonna like steal reality from people? I don't know what. Like, there are people that do those stuff, and like, you're just trying to stop something that is not that bad. It's just anime. It's just a drawing. And like, if you're worried about the children, like I said, you just have to, like, the parents, just inform the parents that they have to protect their child against something like that. Don't ban completely anime from everyone. It's just stupid and unnecessary, in my opinion.
It's the same thing as video games, right? I mean, they're blaming video games, anime for people going mad, you know, and getting all fucked up. But that's not the truth.
For people to be aggressive.
Exactly. The people that do those stuff they already fucked up in their minds, you know. I can play a violent video game, but I'm not gonna start shooting people on the
Yeah.
street because of it.
Like,
Um,
I'm not gonna do that because my parents taught me that that's wrong, and because I know that that's wrong.
exactly.
Like,
And I find it even more ridiculous is that you have a show like Game of Thrones, right?
yeah,
Game of Thrones is fucked up, and I mean it still is the most popular show worldwide, you know,
yeah,
and it has rape, it has gruesome violence, it has incest, it has, I mean, it has all sort of
it has the whole package. It has the whole package.
it has the whole package, man, and I can't, I don't understand how something like Game of
That's
Thrones
not planned.
is fine, but anime isn't, and a lot of anime isn't at least, and it's like
And, no, but by the way, like he wants to ban a lot of anime, and like if not all anime, like
I think
what
they want
you're
to
trying.
ban all anime actually. Let's
Yeah, I don't know.
make a law where they control which anime, you know, get banned. And but
Yeah,
again, it's like the YouTube algorithm, right? It's
yeah,
messy. It's like what how you're gonna risk banning almost every anime because almost every anime has violence and has gore, and because of course creators are not gonna refrain themselves. If they want to make a mature story, they're gonna make a mature story.
yeah,
But yeah, that leads us then to again Tokyo Ghoul, which is a very fucked up show as well, but a very
yes.
important show as well.
A
Uh,
really good show.
a really good show, and I actually wanted to capitalize this podcast by talking about the ending of Tokyo Ghoul Re, which we talked a little bit, and
Yeah, we gave it a little smell.
And I thought this was the perfect opportunity since it hasn't been long since this show and the manga finished.
Yes,
I'm actually a bit sad, to be honest, that it has ended. But I'm satisfied with the ending.
with the ending. Yeah,
I
like
made a
I
video.
would be sad if the ending was bad, but like the way it ended was so like for me it was so good that I felt like good with the ending.
Yes, I made a video about it a while back about why I thought Rudai's ending was the perfect Tokyo Ghoul ending. But um, but that wasn't, you know, I felt like that wasn't me. I think I have to make this clear. It wasn't me saying that the Tokyo Ghoul Re's ending was bad. No, it's just that I felt like the ending of Route A was the tone of it and the whole way they wrapped things up. I felt like it was super emotional and it got the whole theme of the story. You know, it was very
Yeah,
personal, very closed off, and that's exactly what I felt like Tokyo Ghoul needed to wrap, you know, to end the story. With Re, I'm not a fan of the Dragon arc. I'm really not. Even the manga, the Dragon arc wasn't the best. They explained it more things. They explained it better, but I still wasn't a fan of it. I feel like it got too shonen for my taste, and
yeah, a little bit, yeah,
but
for
the
sure.
ending itself, I feel like they made it. They made a great ending. You know, the Suishida was able to finish things on his own terms. He wanted to make a happy ending. He actually changed his mind. He wanted to make a tragedy again. But I feel like his thought process was the same as mine, which was he already did that with the original Tokyo Ghoul series, and then he started Re, and that show, that storyline. If can you imagine if he ended things in a tragedy again? Wouldn't it be strange a little bit?
And yeah, especially after the I think, because like after the was, like I said before, almost like a redemption arc for Kaneki,
Exactly.
in my opinion. Like he was trying to do things right, and I think he deserved a good ending, in my opinion,
And
because he was actually trying to stop all that madness that was going on in the world of Tokyo Ghoul, and that was really good in my opinion. I really enjoyed the ending.
the tone of Re was very different. You know, the Re series, it's all part of the same story, but I mean, there's a reason why Suishida divided into two parts, why he decided to make an official sequel, because the tone and the whole point of the story is different. I mean,
Yeah,
it's not as tragic as the original story. You know, it actually starts pretty light-hearted for Tokyo Ghoul standards, right?
yeah,
You
sure.
have Isaac happy with his friends, with the companions in the CCG, and it's a completely different perspective. I mean, of course, the ghouls are more oppressed than the humans. So if you're going to focus on the CCG, even though a lot of comrades in CCG have lost their lives and all that, it's still it's different. You know, it's a different tone, and I feel like it the ending suited the re part of it. You know, it wasn't just wrapping the whole story down, but it was wrapping the re portion of the story, and
Yeah,
and it will feel very repetitive if they ended in a tragedy. You know, don't you think?
yeah, because the second season ended basically in a tragedy. Kaneki basically died. We didn't actually know what happened after that. Well, in the manga, it's a little bit more specific, but
I mean,
besides that,
yeah,
we don't actually know what happens to Kaneki. I actually thought that would be the end because he died. But we actually get to know that no, he is actually alive. And
it could have worked if they made a with a different protagonist.
yeah, it seems like a different protagonist. I thought it was a completely different story, just in the same like world. When I started watching I actually thought that the story was different.
Yeah, because
It wasn't like the same main character that they have changed the main character.
story-wise, Kaneki's path for redemption was because in the first half of the Tokyo Ghoul story as a whole, you have Kaneki can't find salvation. You know, it becomes very clear towards the end, at least in the manga, because Rudei again ends differently. It's a different message that they're transmitting, and that they're getting across. And I feel like with Re, it's more so Kaneki he's going into madness, but then it's him finding salvation amongst all that madness. And
Yeah,
the happy
absolutely.
ending suits it very well. You know, it's um, because it could have ended in a tragedy. It could have. Although, for one of the reasons why I defend that Rure ending is because it's not as tragic as the ending in the manga, where you have Kaneki die, literally die, a very gruesome death. Um, in this one, you know he's gonna die, but he's not mad. You know, he's not lost in the Kaguya transformation. He knows exactly what he's doing, and he
Yeah,
his ultimate sacrifice is showing the CCG that he's gonna save his friend, his best friend, that is a human, um, and he's gonna embrace the ghoul side of himself and the human side of himself. And in the manga, it's
which
more so he loses himself as a ghoul,
yeah,
and so, but to me, the reason why I like that ending in Rurei so much is that it's not tragic. It's bittersweet, and I feel like I would have preferred personally if Suishida made an ending like that, which was as well personal, because one of the things that I hated about the Dragon arc is that he just made things bigger and bigger. Uh,
Yeah, like it
like
was a
world,
lot about power scaling. Like it almost looked like Dragon Ball. Like look at my final form.
yeah, it got too ridiculous because that's not how Tokyo Ghoul,
Was.
what Tokyo Ghoul was. It was about Kaneki. That it was about him. It wasn't about. Um, of course, the other characters were important, but they served more as a parallel to Kaneki's own life and transformation.
Yeah.
But the story was about him, and I feel like Rudei's ending was about him in the end. Yes, not everything got wrapped up story-wise, but when it comes to his arc and his story, everything was wrapped up nicely,
Yeah.
very well. And maybe that's why the connection between, when it comes to the anime, between Rudei and the re-anime, it doesn't feel natural, is because his arc ended, basically ended. In the manga, it didn't, because it ended tragically. You have Kaneki just losing his mind, and he is not able to. I mean, Hide himself offers his hand or in this case, his mouth to Kaneki, and he pays the price for it. Kaneki isn't able to contain himself, and he harms Ide. Um, but in Rure, he actually tries to save Hide. He's very much human. He's aware of his surroundings, and so when you get to Re, it's not as, it's more natural, because Kaneki ended in madness, and so the whole conflict that Heise has about, I don't want to become, I don't want to become Kaneki, I don't want to lose what I have, because he knows that Kaneki's life was only tragedy. It was messed up, and
Yeah.
Kaneki didn't die as a hero. He died as a monster, really, and that's what he's afraid of. He's afraid of losing control again, and that's why it's so much more. I feel so much more impactful when you see Kaneki losing again when he comes back as a Black Reaper. He loses himself again, and you're like, oh, it's the same thing again. But then he finds himself, perfectly. You have Hide being the one who saves him again when he fights Arima, and it's this process of him finding redemption, and that's why I feel like if the ending of Re was him, you know, sacrificing himself, because there are two ways of finishing Kaneki's arc. Whether one is you have him being killed, or two, you have him survive and have a happy ending. Because clearly Suishida wanted Kaneki to find himself in the end, right?
Yes.
And you couldn't do that uh, if you didn't follow those two ways of ending the story. And I felt like Kaneki could have died. I would have felt like it was, it would be an appropriate ending, but he decided to have him live and have a happy life. And I mean, the execution, because I think it's all about execution, right? If the execution didn't work, then I mean, we wouldn't be having this conversation as positively as we are having.
Yes. Obviously.
Um, so yeah, I feel like, but the reason why it works is because it was built upon. It wasn't. Yes, Suishida at the last minute switched his ideas, and he wanted to end tragically, but then he decided to make a happy ending. But um, it wasn't forced at the same time. I think the groundwork was already made by him, and that's why he decided to make that happy ending instead of a tragedy. And again, it fits the tone of the sequel series, and it's a nice contrast to that to that first death of Kaneki, and Kaneki then gets reborn, and it's that whole process. So yeah.
Yeah, I really like the ending. I think that the happy ending was deserved by Kaneki because poor guy he suffered enough.
Yeah,
but
and even
I get why people wanted him to like have a bad ending, a tragic ending, because it really fits the character and it really fits the story. But that's the thing you were saying. Like I think it fits more the first half of the story, the Tokyo Ghoul, and it's more like I still say it's more like a redemption arc for Kaneki. I think that the Re was mainly for people to see that Kaneki wasn't the monster he was before, and he actually learned, and he embraced his human side. Because in the ending of the Tokyo Ghoul, the first season of Tokyo Ghoul, he embraces his ghoul side, and in the second season of Tokyo Ghoul, he is a ghoul. He becomes a monster. He goes completely out of control. He eats ghouls. He still doesn't eat humans because he still has that human side. But in the end, he gives up to the monster and eats his friend. And like the way that Kaneki behaves in the first and second season, it definitely should be a tragic ending. But as Re comes as a way for us to understand that Kaneki, after all that happened, he is now embracing his human side too, and he's not a ghoul or neither a human. He has become both of them.
Exactly.
Like he was in the beginning. But in the beginning he couldn't understand that. In the beginning he didn't actually knew what he was, and at the end of the story he understood that he was neither a ghoul or a human. He was the connection between both, and that's what I liked about that. And one of the reasons I really liked that was because I actually thought that the ghouls could help humans, because ghouls have really good regenerative powers, and it could really help humans. And Kaneki didn't die because he was saved by a ghoul, technically. By transplanting Rize's organs to Kaneki, he was able to survive.
Yeah.
And like you can see that ghouls could live alongside with humans if they could control themselves. And in the ending, we saw that it was actually possible. And one thing I really liked in the ending too was the fact that in Tokyo Ghoul, like no one was actually like the bad guy, Like
yes, that's
you had the doctor that supposedly you thought that the doctor and the ghouls were the bad guys, but they were actually trying to create a dragon so that humans could understand that the ghouls are not as harmful as they think they are, and ghouls are also like people. They're not humans, but they also have like feelings that they also want to live their lives just like humans want.
Yeah, because even though the way they did things was very drastic, like for example Leto's old plan and all that, they had a reasoning for it, behind it. They wanted to change the world for the better, but they had to get their hands dirty to do so. I feel like Kaneki's arc still ended very strongly, and of course it's nice to see Kaneki, Toka, and their child all together, watching, looking at the sky, the blue sky, and being just free from all the tragedy and being able to just live a normal, happy life. That's all Kaneki ever wanted in the first place.
Yeah.
Although I do find it tragic that Rize, I mean, just got completely the short end of the stick. But yeah,
True.
it was a fun podcast to make, my friend. It was really cool.
Yeah, I think so.
So
I really enjoyed it.
I was a little bit scared that we will screw up something, but no, it's actually pretty good. I think we did a
Yeah.
good job.
It's weird to do videos without the script, but yeah.
That's true. But again, that's what I like so much about podcasts and why I wanted to make one for so long. That it's unscripted,
You're just talking,
you're just
literally.
talking about naturally having a conversation basically and about whatever it is. And yeah, it was really fun. It was really great to have you here, man.
Thanks.
Uh,
Well,
hey
I
guys,
hope we do more.
I no, we're definitely gonna do more. If there are if there are people, at least some people that are interested in this, then I will definitely want to do more with you. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, guys, if you were interested about the my friend here, Simple Weeb's channel, please go check him out. He does some really good videos, and he doesn't have enough subscribers to really, how do you say it, to really solidify his position as a really good YouTuber, because he makes great content. So please go check him out. Um, and yeah, I mean, do you have anything that you want to plug in? Anything
Well,
that you want to?
I'm working on a One Piece uh, video, so if you like One Piece, be like stay stay conscious to my channel, subscribe, because I think that I'm gonna do something really good and something that not a lot of people. I don't think anyone has done it. I think I can say what I'm doing. I am already working on a video. Maybe I don't know when you will be posting this video. Maybe when you post it, I already have my video out. But I'm doing a, a, a summary of the whole One Piece series, and I'm starting on the first arc, obviously. And well, and I'll go through all the arcs of the story. So if you like One Piece, or if you wanted to watch it but never felt like you had the time to, uh, take a look at my video if it is already out, or take a look at my channel and wait for the video. I will be posting it once I'm finished with all these summaries. You can be sure that you're ready to watch the One Piece series where it is in the one arc. But yeah, I think that's all I wanted to say, and it was already pretty much.
So yeah, good stuff, man. So I'll put a link on of your channel below. If you're interested in watching, going to Simple Weeb's channel, please go check that link below, or just type in on YouTube Simple Weeb, and you'll find them. His content is really good, guys. Seriously, he talks about My Hero Academia. He talks about a little bit of Tokyo Ghoul as well. He talks about the different types of yanderes and tsunderes, and I'm telling you, man, it's great. It's really great. So he does all sorts of stuff. So please go check him out. So
Thanks.
so yeah, I mean, this is it. It was really good to have this chat with you.
Thanks. I
And
really enjoyed it too.
hopefully we'll make more, man.
Yeah, hopefully. I think we will. I think the content we just made was pretty entertaining and really cool. So yeah, let's hope that your subscribers think the same.
Yeah, I mean, there's always someone that is going to be interested, I think. But yeah, I mean, as long as there is someone out there who enjoys just listening weeboos talking about anime and stuff, I mean, that's enough for me.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, I think this is it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And well, I guess it's time to end this podcast here, right? Don't you think?
Yes. Yeah, I think so.
All right then. So we'll all see you next time if you check one of the next video on our channels.
Or this podcast.
Exactly. So until then, sayonara, my friends.
Sayonara.